What's up, everybody? It is I, Tevin El Chapo, friends call me Chop, and we are back with yet another episode of Chop Logic, where we get to the logic of things in my very own special Chop way. And today we are here with a very special guest, a fitness extraordinaire. She's gonna get us all in this shape today. We have Bree, aka Coach Breezy. How you doing today?
Hello, I'm wonderful. How are you?
I'm doing good. First things first, thank you for coming to the show.
Thank you for having me.
I definitely appreciate, the perspectives of fitness. I ain't gonna say I'm fully fit. Let's not act like that today. I'm not gonna be
Who really
bragging.
is though, honestly?
I mean,
who's really fully fit? Like,
I see you on the ground. You seem to be doing all right.
Yeah, I mean, most people, it's a scale, it's a spectrum. But anyway,
so it's just kind of like, it's just something that it's important for everybody.
Right.
So definitely I appreciate you again for coming through to the show. So just to kind of start things off, kind of just tell people like who you are and what it is that you do.
Yeah, so my name is Bree. I am a health and fitness coach, strength and performance coach more specifically. I do online and in-person training for business owners, entrepreneurs, athletes, just basically training people how to create balance within their health and wellness and get to the next level.
Okay, cool. How long you been doing that?
I've been training for 8 years now.
Gotcha.
The way that training has looked over the years has definitely changed, but overall I've been in the industry for 8 years.
Got you. Okay, so kind of talk about like the changes that if you notice.
Yeah, so I personally started out just personal trainer. Anybody in the industry knows that there's a huge difference between personal trainer, group fitness instructor, athletic development coach, like strength and conditioning coach. There's a huge difference between the two. So when I started out, I was strictly personal training. Group fitness and personal training. So I was more general population. So helped everyone know specific niche. I then went into collegiate sports. So I did a lot of work with Georgia Tech, with Georgia Southern, with Mississippi State a little bit. Just really doing strength and conditioning program for Olympic sports, soccer, basketball, baseball, track, things like that. So now my training is more of a combination of the two. How do I help general population and athletes and kind of combine the necessaries of training like an athlete to general population?
Okay. Right. So, wow. I mean, I just learned something in the last few minutes of you even saying all that.
Yeah.
So strength and conditioning is totally different from just being a personal trainer.
I wouldn't necessarily say totally different, but it can be. Depending on the trainer, depending on the background, depending on the goals, the training styles can be completely different.
So is it more, I guess, in your experience of how you do it, is it more just like weight training per se? Is it more focused on that? Is it less focused on calisthenics or cardio?
Yeah, so strength and conditioning for me and for my industry, my field is more so functional training. So we do a lot of barbell work. We do a lot of mobility work. We do a lot of how able are you to control your body in certain positions? How heavy can you lift and still be in control of your body? Things like that. So a lot of it is really incorporating barbells, trap bars, like equipment like that, rather than the typical personal trainers that you see now are more HIIT style training, where they're doing high intervals and they're getting your heart rate up, bring it back down. They're kind of doing more body weight work, things like that.
Got you. Okay. So what kind of brought you into being into this field, like as a profession? Like I don't know, what does your fitness journey look like before you decided to do this?
Yeah. So I've always been an athlete. So I grew up like playing every sport, and it really kind of developed into family saying, oh, can you train me to do this? Can you train me to do that? So it kind of started with that and grew from it. In college, I started my career at the YMCA. So I got into personal training there, and really just seeing the transformation, because before it was just something I enjoyed to do, because I've always been an athlete. I love to lift. I was always the number one person in the weight room. Like I'm first there. I may not have been the best athlete, but I was always the best in the weight room. So that was more so just like my calling, and I enjoyed it. But when I actually went to the YMCA and I started to see transformations and how fitness affected mothers and business owners and fathers and even kids growing up that maybe didn't do organized sports, like just seeing that transformation and the confidence growing people, that's what really inspired me to be like, okay, there's so much more to this than just playing a sport. Even though playing like this, it's just different. It's very different.
Got you. Yeah, I have very little playing sport experience.
Okay.
I played football for 1 semester, and the team was defeated. Not undefeated.
Okay.
We were completely defeated. So
Yeah.
transfer schools the next semester and said, "Nah, I'm gonna see what this video stuff is talking about."
Okay.
So a lot of my fitness journey honestly didn't start for me until college.
Okay.
So just even having friends who pushed me into doing weight training, more conditioning, things of that nature, and then eventually getting to a point of pushing myself into that point. It's, from my experience as an average person who wasn't an athlete, I could tell you it's not easy doing that. So like when it comes to like the clientele that you work with, what are some of like the biggest complaints that you may hear or biggest hindrances to people reaching their goals?
Well, I would say everybody has their breaking point, what I call their breaking point. Like you said, you didn't really get into it until you were in college. Something in you, whether it was something internal, whether it was something external, something made you decide, okay, now I need to start getting on my fitness journey. Everybody has that point at some point in time, whether it's when you're younger and you decide to play sports, or your parents make you play sports, or your doctor tells you you have to start doing something, or you're gonna have to take medication, or you want to get married, and something. Everybody has that breaking point. But I would say the biggest kind of roadblock that people have is just overestimating the process. It does not necessarily take you having to go to the gym 4, 5, 6 days a week to see the results. It doesn't take you having to have this super restricted diet to see the results that you want to see. It literally just takes baby steps. So habit stacking. So overestimating the process is definitely one thing that people kind of mentally block themselves from actually starting your fitness journey or continuing on your fitness journey. And just not knowing what to do, because you can see all of these things on social media and it can be a huge misconception. You see people doing all of these Olympic lifts, and you see them doing all of these heavy lifts and different things in the gym, and it can be intimidating. So if you don't know what you're doing and you're not familiar, you didn't grow up playing sports, you're not familiar with that, it can be very intimidating. And you just, that little voice in you tells you, instead of being embarrassed or instead of stepping out of my comfort zone, I'm just going to stay here for now.
Yeah. Yeah, I've definitely I've been there more than 3 times. more than a few. Yeah. I think that it's a lot of what you just said in terms of like misinformation being out there in terms of health and wellness, just in general. A lot of people put a lot of overexertion into the workout. For one, a lot of people will tell you what different workouts to do and what parts of the body they may work out, things of that nature. A lot of these things aren't necessarily conducive to beginners either. So if it's someone, I have experience lifting and experience in doing calisthenics, so I have a better understanding. But if I started from nothing, then the mass amount of information and just knowing who to trust as a credible source it's very not easy to do.
Right.
Versus there was a time where there was hardly any information unless you knew somebody who was already in the space. Now it's just like too much information where it's like people can get overloaded before they ever get started.
Right.
And I've been there.
Yeah.
I've been there. So, even just like one thing that I saw recently was someone saying, as long as you're in a caloric deficit, that's kind of the biggest thing in terms of nutrition, right? So if your caloric deficit is you eating 1,000 calories a day, but all of it is donuts, then you'll still lose weight. And can you speak towards things like that, right?
Yeah. That's a great point. I'm glad you brought that up, because that's definitely a huge mental block that I have with people. Yes, in order to lose weight, mathematically, you need to be in a calorie deficit. However, there is a mandatory amount of calories your body needs to perform basic functions. So if you're in a calorie deficit, but you're only eating 1,000 calories, you're not eating for what's considered your maintenance level or your healthy weight loss level. If you're below that number, if your body's not getting the recommended or the minimum amount of calories it needs, then your body your metabolism starts to slow down, which is your energy storage, what actually burns fat, because now it's in what's called starvation mode. It's going to protect itself by holding on to fat. It's easier for your body to function by holding on to fat rather than muscle. It takes more energy to hold on to muscle. So you need to be in a calorie deficit, yes, if you want to lose weight, but you need to know the numbers. There's a simple website, calculator.net. I think that's the website, calculator.net. Literally, you go in, you figure out your minimum number of calories and make sure that you're at least hitting that minimum.
For sure, yeah. Because also, too, I would add it's malnourishment, too.
Yeah,
so it's like
that's exactly what it is.
1,000 calories of donuts, I'm pretty sure isn't going to get you all the macronutrients
It's not.
that you need
It's not.
to live.
There's been this, I can't remember if it was like the Netflix documentary or something, but the guy did a test basically saying, oh, I can eat McDonald's all day and still lose weight. And he did, because he was in a calorie deficit. He's eating under his recommended amount of calories, but there's no nutrients. You're not able to build muscle. Your body's breaking down. You feel like shit. I don't know if I can cuss on this podcast, but
go ahead. Yeah, no, that's no trouble.
you feel horrible while you're doing that. So like, yes, it's possible, but is that really the most efficient way to do it? No.
So even just on the other side of things, can you realistically outwork a bad diet? And I personally, I feel like I know the answer, but I just want to say for the sake of the audience, like, because if I'm eating like shit every day, but I'm still like under my calories and I'm still working out 6 days a week, will I still see results versus if I was eating significantly better, but I was eating more calories than I needed to, and I wasn't working out as frequently?
Yeah, I mean, you will for sure, but there's going to be a time limit on it. Your body's ability to actually function properly because it's not getting the nutrients is going to catch up to you at some point. You can do it, but is this something that you can do long term? Absolutely not.
Got you.
The one thing that I recommend, I always tell people follow what's called the 80-20 rule. So 80% of your foods is the whole foods, the good stuff, and then 20% is whatever the fuck you want it to be. It can be the donuts, it can be the ice cream. As long as it's within that 20%, they're good. And then working out, you don't even need to do 6 days a week. You can do 2, you can do 3, but you're building up onto something. So you start with what you can manage, and then once you get into that routine, it's just habit stacking. Your body is going to naturally start to adapt into what you're doing because you started smaller. You didn't try to go all out and go crazy and do all these extra things, going 6 days a week. That's not even necessary. Top athletes are barely even training 6 days a week because you need a rest day. Your body needs to recover.
No, for sure. For sure. I've been on that side of things too, where I felt like I needed to work out 7 days a week. And I did see results, but it was very tiring on the joints and the muscles,
right.
And just even mentally just draining at times. So what would be like an ideal split for someone who is just getting started in their fitness journey? Like, let's say it was an entrepreneur who, had been out of shape for some time and now they want to take their health more serious, and you was tasked with working with them. Like, what would be like an ideal split for them in terms of like a workout regimen that you would put them on?
So first it's going to depend on their schedule. But generally, basically speaking, I would recommend starting out with 2 to 3 days a week. So we start out with 2 to 3 days a week, depending on if like you said, they're completely beginner, they're just starting out, they've never really been into this, then I would start them off with body weights. So we're going to do 3 days total body, 2 or 3 days of total body weight. We'll add in some conditioning at the beginning or the end, just kind of getting them in shape. So my first 2 weeks is always just assessing. So I need to know where you are. I need to know what your fitness level is, because sometimes even beginners, they can be way more advanced than they even think they are. And then even outside of the gym, it just starts with how many steps a day are you getting? How active are you throughout the day? Are you sitting at your desk all throughout the day? Because even if you're consistently working out 2-3 days a week, but you're completely sedentary the rest of the day, you're defeating all your progress. So the first 2 weeks, increase your steps, increase your water intake, pay attention to your nutrition. We're not really changing anything for the first 2 weeks. Just pay attention to where you are, because most people don't even know where they are. You can guess, but you'll probably be completely wrong because you've never looked at it. And then once we actually start moving and working out, the split would be 2 or 3 days of total body weight, adding in dumbbells, adding in kettlebells, adding in functional movements, getting you ready, primed to be able to put your body under a barbell eventually, or a trap bar or something. We're not just going to jump into that whole thing. We're going to ease into it because this is something we want to do long term.
Got you. For sure. For sure. Speak a little bit more about mindset and just the type of mindsets that people put themselves in to limit themselves from reaching their goals, and then also the types of things they have to overcome in terms of their mindset to be successful in their fitness journey.
A lot of it's going to be the negative self-talk. I have a lot of clients, even if you don't really say it out loud, the things that you're even thinking to yourself, the negative things, the doubt. You're looking at somebody do an exercise and you're like, oh, I could never do that. Or you're looking at somebody in a swimsuit and you're like, oh, my body could never look like that. Like things like that are immediately what's going to shut you down. So it's always about the manifestation of it. It's always about, what do you want? So we break down, what is the ultimate goal that you want? Not what do you feel is realistic. I don't care about realistic right now. What do you want? Because what you actually want, when you actually have that conversation and you stop limiting your mind to be realistic, then you actually start to reach the goals that you want to reach. So what do you want to look like? What do you want to feel like? What does that look like? What does your environment look like? What do we need to change and eliminate? Do we need to start doing our morning affirmations? Do we need to start doing our nightly journaling? Like, what habits do we need to implement, and what do we need to eliminate from our current lifestyle that will help us actually get to this next level? Because right now, you're counting yourself out before you even have the opportunity. And that's what majority of people do. You see all of these people on Instagram, you see these things, and automatically you're like, oh, that can never be me. But honestly, there's a girl now, she's a trainer, and she's never played a sport, never been an athlete, never done anything. And now she's the one training other people to actually get there. If she had kept that mindset of, oh, I'm too overweight, or I'm too this, I'm too that, she would have never even been able to help the people that she's helping now.
Nah, that's dope. That's dope. You know, even just, I guess even in terms of age, I think people kind of like feel like, oh, I'm too old to get a six pack, or I'm too old to be swole, or too old to lose the weight that you have. You know, I know, I'm not going to say I know everything about the space. It's not my ministry, but can you kind of speak towards like what the body does in age, and just why even that mindset shouldn't be something that holds people back from being fit?
Yeah, one thing I honestly hate to hear, it makes me cringe, is like, if somebody's having aches and pains, they're like, oh, I'm just old. No, you just don't take care of yourself. Mm-hmm. It has very minimal amount of things to do with you actually being old, because there are 25, 26-year-olds with the same knee pain that a 67-year-old has. And it's because they're not taking care of their body, internally or externally. So age, yes, obviously your body's going to age, you're going to go through things, but you really just need to pay attention to what's going on and take better care of yourself. Like, the more you move your body, the more you practice the functional training, which is why my specialty is more so strength and conditioning and functional movements. How are you able to control your body through functional movements? Things we do every day. You squatted to sit down on this couch. You hinge to pick up the box that we were talking about over there. There are movements that you do in everyday life that you need to be functional for. So that's what the training is for. It's adaptable training. And the more you do it, there are literally 80-year-olds doing marathons right now.
Yeah, true.
And there's a 30-year-old sitting on the couch watching this that can barely get up. It's not about your age.
True. Yeah, one thing I will say too, like even in my fitness journey, I used to squat. Shout out to my good brother Jason, who's producer of the day. He was showing me just better form with squatting, and I used to have terrible knee pain because of it. Mm-hmm. And it kind of led me to it led me for one to the realization that I wasn't stretching. So I wasn't stretching before or after the workout. Mm-hmm. Ideally, you need to do both, but just it kind of brought me to a point even just doing yoga and just kind of like getting that flexibility. And now I'm squatting heavier than I ever had before, and I haven't had a knee problem in years. So it's just everything that you're saying, right? So, and I'm 30 now. That was like, I was like 27 when that happened. 26. Yeah. So it's kind of like, you know, a lot of people put themselves in that mindset like, oh, I'm just old. Even at 25, 26, I was telling people I was old. Mm-hmm. But it's just kind of like, I just wasn't taking as good care of myself as I could have. And now I feel way better now than I did when I was younger.
Exactly.
And it's just kind of like, it's things like that, you know, mindset wise, I think people kind of ignore, and they kind of just put themselves in like that stagnant, you know, just space. But it's everything that you're saying. Like, there's a lot of movements that you have to do in life in general. If you work at Amazon, you're going to be lifting boxes all day. So if you can't lift the box, then you're just going to be fucked up.
Right. Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? If you can't do basic stuff, if you can't sit down in a chair, if you can't go up and down steps, you know, no matter what you're doing in life, these are just general things.
Right.
And it's just kind of like, I mean, you really got to really take that time and take that effort to take care of yourself.
That's why it pisses me off when if there's ever like a chiropractor, physical therapist, or doctor, even anybody that tells you, oh, just avoid this movement. How? Like, don't go in the gym and do heavy squats. Don't go in the gym and do heavy RDLs. Like, Why and how? Because I literally do that in everyday life. So that makes no sense. But that also goes back to the breaking point that you said, like you were having knee pain. That was a version of one of your breaking points where now you actually decided to make a change and now you feel better than you did when you were 27.
Yeah, no, for sure. It was definitely a breaking point. I guess I didn't really see it like that at the time. And even to listen with your point of breaking points, like you see them as breaking points in terms of just places of where you need to change, but they may not feel like major breaking points. So even in that one, it was just like, okay, I just want to try yoga so that I'm not fucked up when I'm lifting these heavy weights. You feel what I'm saying? I'm just having some type of stretch before, even though it had to be yoga, just some type of stretching in general, just to keep things flowing the way that it's supposed to. And, didn't look at it at the time as a breaking point, but here we are years later, I still do it. Yeah. And it's still a habit of mine. And, it instilled better habits without me realizing that's what I was doing.
Right. And like you said, breaking points kind of range. So breaking point can be as simple as I just want to have more energy throughout the day. Or it can be as complex as, oh, I'm injured and now I have to recover, or my doctor told me I need to be on medication, or it's a wide range and you can have as many throughout your lifetime as you need.
No, yeah, for sure. For sure. So even with you, like what was the last breaking point that you recall? Even if it's not necessarily like within your fitness journey, but even within like your business of turning fitness into a business.
Well, my business has breaking points every other day at this point, but I guess when it comes to my fitness specifically, I definitely had to start practicing what I preach more. Because I tell people practice balance, take care of yourself, do all the things, and I'm running myself into the ground for my business and not really taking care of my own health. So that was a realization where I'm like, how do I expect for my clients to be able to see results and be happy with this program that they signed up for, and I'm not even doing it myself. So that was definitely a wake up call for me. But my business has breaking points literally constantly. Had one on the way here.
So what was the one on the way here?
The one on the way here. So I'm putting together group vacations. So my business is all about health, wellness, and just living the best version of your life. How do we just experience more? How do we feel better? How do we be more present? Things like that. So I've always wanted to do what I thought was retreats. But then I realized that I'm not structured enough to do retreats. So I like to drink, and I'm not going to tell everybody, oh, come on this retreat and get a whole transformation. Like, no, we're going to be drunk a little bit. So, so I kind of changed it to be a group vacation instead. So, long story short, this past year for my birthday, I did Sweat and Celebrate. So now we're going to do Sweat and Celebrate Takes Flight. So we're going to do a group vacation for my birthday this year.
Okay, nice. I mean,
that was the realization I had.
Yeah, I'm just trying to do group anything is not easy.
Yeah.
In real life. Yeah. I don't know who the people in this group specifically, but when I do things, it's usually with people of color. And something about us is that we don't like being on one accord when it's time to do trips, to do togetherness things, anything that don't require you to drive down the street. It gets harder and harder.
And and the timeline right now, I am pushing a little bit. But I think that things work better in groups, in my opinion. So I personally stopped doing one-on-one training because of that. I didn't feel like I was able to actually help people get the transformation they needed just by, honestly, it felt selfish. Me saying, you're going to come work with me one-on-one, and just because you're in my presence, you're going to be able to get the transformation. It seemed like it just didn't flow right. So now my training mainly is online, but I have what's called open gym hours. So it's small group. Anybody that's in my coaching program can come, open gym hours twice a week. And we all come together. So everything in my business is kind of more so group oriented. The calls that we do are group coaching calls. The sessions we do in person are group coaching sessions, group vacations. Like I feel I'm very big on community. And that doesn't mean hundreds of people. Like I'm definitely not a people person like that. But I feel like when you're around the right people and around the right energy and that have the right intentions, it's way better than just being by yourself. Even if it's just 4 or 5 people, that's way better than just kind of doing things on your own.
Yeah, for sure. I've been on both sides of that. Again, shout out to my big brother Jason. I used to go to the gym with him all the time when we lived in the same area, and then these past few years has been me propelling myself more than anything. I tried different things with my family, tried to get them into fitness, even just doing yoga with them, and that kind of fell off. Or getting them to hike Stone Mountain with me, and they fall off of that too. So it's just kind of like as much as I enjoy groups and I appreciate group settings, like I said, it's hard getting people together.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Especially when you care about those people, you care about their wellness, and you want them to be not even on the same level as you, but at least try. You know what I mean? At least try something. It ain't got to be every day. It ain't got to be all the time. And that's how I always end up kind of doing things on my own. And,
yeah. So to speak to that specifically, I think you just need to find your tribe. Like, you cannot expect there's a quote for it, but some of your friends ain't got to be friends with your other friends, right? Like you can't always mix company. Some friends are good for this, and then some friends are good for that. So you really can't because that's not their fault. You can't put that expectation on them to want to do what you enjoy. And it just is what it is. There's no hard feelings or anything. It's just, you enjoy this, so you want to do this. So find your tribe of people that enjoy doing that, rather than trying to force the people that you do other things with to want to do this with you. It's two separate companies. So that's why my goal is to really create the environment to where you can come and find your tribe. You can come and join in with people with the same intention, because that expectation is already embedded into the group, rather than trying to bring people into something else, if that makes sense.
No, for sure. And I respect that. Just even having a tribe of people, that's something that I've had to work on, just in all areas of my life, not even just fitness. Just not doing everything by myself. Again, shout out to having a producer on this show.
Yeah.
Because I wouldn't be able to do this without somebody. I wouldn't be able to run my business without, fellow people being in it. So it's just a lot of things I kind of just had to, with age, put it beside myself, and even so, to kind of segue a little bit in terms of building a tribe, right? Every tribe got a few bad apples. Now we ain't gonna lie like that ain't true.
Yeah, we know that.
So what are some of you ain't got to name names. I mean, you can if you want to. I'm not gonna stop you.
Okay.
But in terms of client experiences, what were some of the worst or just craziest client experience that you had, if you had any? You may be been blessed to not have any ridiculous people who have ridiculous requests.
Honestly, I can't really say that I have. And I think that it's because, number one, before you even start working with me, there's a certain level of understanding that has to even be met before we get to that point. So I would say that the crazier part would be maybe before they start working with me, conversations in the DMs or coaching calls or sales calls or something like that, where it's this just isn't in alignment. But I don't know. I don't work with people that are not in alignment with the vision. If you don't want this for yourself, if you're not going to come in here and take it seriously, yes, we have fun for sure. In all of my group sessions, we have fun. We talk shit. We push each other. But I can't really think of anybody that was just that kind of fizzled out themselves, if it was anybody that just wasn't in alignment.
That's great. I love that for you.
And that's for my coaching specifically, though. Of course, there's been other smaller communities or things that I've been a part of, but I can't really name anything specifically for my business.
No, yeah, for sure. It's just, in my business, in the videography space, it's a lot of.
Sure, there's a lot.
I had a whole episode on disrespect. And I guess now 2 episodes. One was on disrespect, and the other one was just on crazy experiences. And I can make a part 2 for both of those.
I'm sure. That industry is very. It's more likely to experience that in yours, for sure.
Yeah. I'm not jealous or nothing. I'm just it's just how it is.
I'm blessed. I'll say that, because I know there's definitely potential there, but
for sure, so even if for you personally, right, how has balancing fitness as a business versus still doing fitness for yourself worked out? I know that you said that just practicing what you preach has been something that you've been really advocating for. But just kind of speak on like, not even just aside from the fitness side of things, just finding the right balance of, managing your business, managing your own health and wellness, and managing just any other part of your life in the personal side.
Yeah, so it's definitely not the easiest thing. It seems, because it's my industry, it seems like it's supposed to be second nature or whatever, but it's definitely not. I would say the thing, my whole programming is based off of my experiences. So anything that comes up in my programming, in my personal life, anything that comes up that I see my clients go through, it all creates the coaching program that I have today. So when it comes to the schedule, making sure that your workouts fit around your schedule. When it comes to your nutrition, making sure that your nutrition fits what you enjoy and what you can actually maintain. When it comes to your sleep regimen, doing that. And then I am quick to partner with somebody. Like, I'm quick to collaborate. I'm quick to find resources rather than trying to rely on myself. So I think that's been a major part of it. I've done a lot of like the IV hydration. I partner with Sweat House, so I've gotten a lot of the contrast therapy recovery. I partner with Whoop, so I have the Whoop band where it just tracks your recovery and helps with that. So just really having an understanding of what you're feeling and why and what to do about it. That's been the biggest thing for me and the biggest takeaway that I can give to any of my clients or anybody. Just know what's going on, because a lot of times we just kind of going through the motions and we don't even really know what's going on internally, externally. Oh, this hurts, but you just kind of, this has always hurt, so you just kind of live with it. Like me, I've had knee pain forever. I was a track athlete. I was a jumper on shitty tracks, high school and college. So my knees are shit, but it's something that I before just living with, but now I'm actually trying to do something about it instead of just pushing through it, because I know, how can I help people get out of pain if I can't get out of my own pain?
Right.
That doesn't make any sense. So my clients are my inspiration for me. If it weren't for my business, I probably would be a bum on the couch somewhere.
Nah, that's dope. That's dope. Definitely just doing what you're passionate about is the biggest thing. In terms of like, I guess a workout for you, right? Mm-hmm. So what does your workout splits look like?
For me right now, my workout splits, I go 4 days a week. So I'm Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday at 5 a.m. And
Damn.
the split is, so it's kind of based around push pull. Well, not really. I guess it's not really push pull legs. I base it off. So Mondays I squat, Tuesdays I bench, Thursdays I deadlift, and Fridays I front squat. So I kind of base everything off of that. And for me, it's easier to kind of just go off of what I know. For me, it's not really like fully programmed for me because I just kind of know it, but yeah. It's based around those main lifts and just kind of complementary or accessory lifts after that. So you have your main lift. So my main lift, the squat on Mondays, everything is surrounded by how do we make the squat better. Tuesdays, everything is surrounded by how do we make the bench better. Thursdays, Fridays, same thing.
Got you. There's a lot of that just pertains to like your goals specifically, though, yeah. Right? So not just necessarily like gaining a lot of muscle or losing body fat or just like, whatever the case may be, just strictly even in a client base, like a goal set, just depending on who that person is and what they're looking to do. Yeah. So every program is customized. So based off of the individual, based off of their body type, based off of their individual, what's called like their peculiarities, like what their injuries are, what their history is, things like that. So every program is customized to fit that individual. Even in the small group sessions, everybody's coming, but there may be a main basis of the workout, but everybody kind of has their own individual different modalities to accomplish their goals. Got you. Is 5 a.m. just because that's your thing, or you just want the gym to be empty, or you just like, it's that busy during the rest of the day that's the only time you can go? A good mix. Okay. So honestly, I was a person, when was this? Honestly, this past summer, I definitely was a person. I was like, if I don't have to, I'm not fucking getting up at 5 a.m. I'm not doing it. Word. And it got to a point where my days were just so crazy back to back, and it was more stressful for me to try to go at like the 9 or the 12. It was
it just wasn't working out for me to do it. And sometimes I would miss a bunch of workouts, or I'm trying to cramp it in and I'm still thinking about work and doing all this. So I was like, you know what, let me just commit to getting up in the morning, getting it out of the way, see how it goes. If I don't like it, I can change it. But I mean, it's been working out. So I've been doing it for about 8 or 9 weeks now. And I mean, it's honestly been working out because I can get it out the way. If I need to take a nap, I'm perfectly fine taking a nap, or I can keep going. It's better for me right now to get it done earlier and then let my day kind of go where it needs to go after that.
Yeah, for sure. I used to get up at 5 a.m. to work out as well. But I think the biggest thing motivating me at that time was depression. So once I got out of depression, like, yeah, I could sleep a little bit more. I could sleep a little bit more. And that may be opposite, because I know people be like, depression makes you sleepier. I was fighting demons. All right. So I was trying to get out of it however I can. Like now, I have an alarm set for like 6:30 in the morning. I'm usually at the gym by like 7:30. And even that, like, people be like, dang, you get up 7:30. It's like 7:30 is cool. Once we get to like 9 and beyond, I'm like, all right, we need to just figure this out another time of the day.
Yeah.
Because then now I feel like, all right, I got stuff I need to be doing, and you know, trying to get in any time past 9 a.m. At least the gym I go to is super busy. You try and get in the afternoon when it's less busy. Who got time in the afternoon to be doing that? And then you got the nighttime when it's right back busy again. So it's just kind of like, you kind of want to catch it, at least for me, catching it at the best time to get the whole workout done without you waiting on other people that ain't, you know, with you. But yeah, 5 a.m., that was just...
And that was a version of one of your breaking points. Like that was one of the breaking points. And that was how you decided to kind of go about that, which is great.
Yeah, but then the breaking point became, all right, I don't need to keep doing this.
Hey, and you changed it. But what you notice is you did that and then you adjusted, right? You didn't do that and then go back to not doing shit.
Yeah, no,
you made a foundation and then you adjusted around your lifestyle and what changed for you. But you had something to go off of first. Exactly.
You know, because my whole thing, even when I started my entrepreneurship journey, was that I didn't quit my job to get up at 5 a.m. to do anything. That was kind of not the point of even, you know, if I don't have nobody to answer to, why am I getting up this early? But again, that's kind of even a mindset shift, because when I first started entrepreneurship, I was getting up at like 11, 10. So that even
like,
gets to
I
the
can sleep
point.
in now, bitch.
Yeah, but then it's just like, you know, you start realizing just what you say, like, as time goes on, you get busy. You have clients that you need to service. You have things, you have places you need to be, calls you need to be on. So many different things, right? You don't get the luxury of doing that.
Right.
People who operate at a high level operate in the morning.
Right.
So I'm having calls at 9:30, 10. You know what I'm saying? I have people asking me like, hey, can you be at this shoot by 8? So it's just kind of like, it doesn't make sense for me to be laying in bed, you know? And also, I stopped drinking. So if I'm not hungover, then I'm definitely out the bed in the morning. You know, I have no reason to be in the bed super late. If I'm not sick, ain't nothing crazy going on. So I think that, you know, breaking point for me was I needed to shift into 5 a.m. But then realizing that I'm in a better space and I can manage my time accordingly and manage my wellness and my fitness journeys without getting up that early was also like another semi-breaking point to a degree. So I think too that, you know, the internet kind of fooled me into thinking everybody need to get up super early for some reason. And I think
I actually just made a video about that. I haven't posted it yet, but I just made a video about that.
Yeah, talk about it a little bit. How the internet is influencing people in the weirdest ways possible, especially in their fitness journey.
It's just so overestimated. Like, if 5 a.m. works for your schedule, cool. If it doesn't, don't force it. Like, don't do it just because you saw somebody else doing it. Do it because you looked at your schedule and you saw that that's the only time you have to do it. And I don't know, for me, it's just, it's all a game of trial and error. Like, if you see that this is, I can see using the internet as some form of inspiration. I can see that to make you be like, okay, well, this is something that I want to do. I see her doing this, you know, let me get up and do something. But that doesn't mean that you have to literally mimic everything that you're seeing on there.
Yeah.
Use it as just stepping stones to get you started into doing something. But it's so overrated. It's so like, oh, you have to do this, you have to do that. No, you don't. You really don't.
That is a fact. And they will fool you into thinking that.
They will. They will. And honestly, that's a huge part of where like the eating disorders come in and dysmorphia and all of these things, because you have, even when you're doing all of these things, you still may not see the results because it may not fit your body or your lifestyle or your energy levels. Like, you can be doing the exact same regimen that this influencer is doing, but because it's not meant for you, you're not going to see the same results. And then you're going to feel like shit because you didn't see the results.
And that happens.
That happens more times than not. And it's honestly, that's why I always recommend, if you're starting out, get a coach. Even if it's just online, even if it's in person, like, get a coach, somebody that knows what they're talking about, because there's a lot of coaches out here that don't know what they're talking about. But get somebody that actually knows their stuff and can help you specifically reach your goals.
For sure, 100%. And that's in every industry.
Literally.
Single industry. So, you know, as business coaches, I went through business coaching for my videography business. Definitely helped get me into a better position and just, you know, be more forward thinking about how I need to operate. And again, you can get training in anything, be a chef,
yeah, for sure,
interior decorator. But, you know, fitness is just one of those things that's just universal. Everybody needs to have some level of health and wellness if they want to live a long, healthy life. So, you know, definitely make sure to tap in with Coach Breezy. She's out here doing her thing. You know, I thank you again for coming to the show. You know, I appreciate you.
Thank you for having me.
But we ain't done yet. We still not done. So we gonna go to break. And when we come back, we got trivia. So stay tuned. This video is sponsored by Chop House Media Group. Now listen, podcasting is hard, all right? There's a lot of moving parts to a successful podcast, whether it be the shooting side, the post-production side, the audio mixing and mastering. Just having the right strategy and know how to even get this podcast in the right places and getting it into the right positions to get monetized. And that is where Chop House Media Group helps out at. We have coined the phrase, the podcast in the box, where we pretty much facilitate anything and everything that you need to run a successful podcast, between the production, the post-production, the strategy, and the tips and tricks that you need to be 1,000% successful in every single aspect of your podcasting career. Now, if you are interested in being a part of this and making sure that you get your podcast to the next level, whether you are just now starting out your podcast or you are already in the podcasting field but want to take it to another level, be sure to hit the link below and schedule your free consultation with us to make sure that we get your podcast up and going further than you can ever imagine. All right, again, thank you to Chop House Media Group for sponsoring this video. Now let's get back to the show. And we're back. We are back with Coach Breezy. Welcome back again. We are here for the trivia section of the show. So I don't know if you know, or the audience, I'm going to explain it anyway. Essentially what's going to happen is we're going to have 3 questions. All right. They're going to be multiple choice. Now, if you get 2 out of 3 correct, you win a cash prize. But if you get 2 out of 3 incorrect, we give the cash prize to the audience. So to be eligible for the cash prize, number 1, you got to be subscribed to the YouTube channel. For 2, you got to make sure you like this video. And for 3, you got to comment below your favorite moment, and we'll randomly select somebody from the comments to win the cash prize. And we've had a lot of good moments on this episode, so I'm sure you learned something that you can say if you want to win some money. All right. Now, I want to preface this too. I say it all the time now. I didn't make these questions. I don't know these questions. I'm not even going to read the questions. I know I'm the face of the show, but the producer, we was talking about a team. The team did the questions.
The tribe.
So the tribe did it. So shout out to Javane. He's not able to be here with us today. He ain't nothing wrong with him. He just got other obligations. Shout out to him.
Make sure we say that.
I make sure to say that. You know what I'm saying? We preach wellness around here. But we do have my big brother, Jason Almighty, J-Based. He got a few other nicknames we ain't gonna talk about right now. But he's stepping in and he's gonna provide the questions. So Jason, we good? We ready?
Yeah, we good.
All right, here we go.
All right, Coach Breezy. First question. What is the primary energy system used during a short sprint?
Anaerobic. Oh, sorry. It's multiple choice. I forgot. I'm sorry.
All right. So the choices are A, aerobic system, B, phosphagen system, C, glycolytic system, or D, respiratory system.
Okay. Can you name it one more time?
So it's A, aerobic system, B, phosphagen system, C, glycolytic system, or D, respiratory system?
B.
That is correct. It's the phosphagen system. I'm pronouncing that correctly, right?
Phosphagen.
I wouldn't know to tell you
I'm
differently.
just making sure. I just want to make sure.
Yeah, you're good.
Sound good to me.
All right. So, question number 2. Which macronutrient is primarily responsible for muscle repair after a workout? Is it A, carbohydrates, B, fat, C, protein, or D, fiber?
C.
That is correct.
Oh, you won already, but we're going to run through that.
Brett.
Congratulations, but we're going to go through the third question anyway.
All right. The last question is, how many hurdles are in a standard 100-meter hurdle race for women? Is it A, 5, B, 8, C, 10, or D, 12?
B.
B, 8?
Yeah.
That is incorrect. It is C, 10.
10? Dang, I thought 10 was men's. Okay. Well, we got 2.
Yeah, we already won it. All right, sorry, y'all. I still love you anyway. Audience, definitely still subscribe. You know, just because, hold on, I gotta make sure I say this too. Just because you didn't win this episode don't mean you can't go back to a previous episode. You know what I mean? Like, we do episodes all the time. We got multiple episodes. You feel what I'm saying? So you may never know. You find one that ain't got no comments and we, you know, got some money out there for you. You might make something off of it.
You can still comment, do everything he said, and I'll send the bread to you.
Anyway, you know what I mean? Hey, listen, she said she gonna break bread with you. She'll break bread with you, you know. But yeah, Coach Breezy, I thank you again. You know, anybody who wants to work with you directly, anybody who wants to contact you, reach you, like, how can we find you?
You can find me on all platforms at Breezy Fitco, BreezyFitco. I currently have a few spots open for my coaching program, but if you just want a more hands-off approach, you just want some structure and accountability, you can join my Strong on Purpose community.
Nice. Be sure to join the community. Again, thank you again for coming through. I really appreciate it. This has been another episode of Chop Logic. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more episodes, like this video, all the things, even though you didn't win the prize. You can still run it up, you know what I mean? And we'll catch you guys next time. Peace.
Bye-bye.